on the panel with me today. It's a really interesting topic for me as founding principal of Glendale International School. And obviously, this is a really important topic for teachers in our workspace. And I wanted to mention a few things about professional development. And obviously, we know as educators that professional development is vitally important in growing a strong team. And schools that encourage their employees to seek out professional development opportunities are definitely in turn encouraging higher productivity and job satisfaction. So to talk about each of these things in turn, I wanted to ask you a few questions related to each of your individual schools. And I know that you'll have lots of really good input to share with everybody today. So starting off with Ms. Pranathi, your school, as principal of Woodland Park School, Ajman, how do you at Woodland Park School provide specific training for your staff? And are there any potential issues with the structure of PD in schools?
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you, Ms. Glendale, for this question. This is actually a very important area to look after as an educator, as a principal of the school. Let me give you a brief about my school. It's a large school of 4,500 students approximately, of kindergarten to grade 12. So the staff that I have is almost close to 500. So this is very key for us to identify the strengths and the weaknesses of each and every staff member, to identify their areas that they are expert in, at the same time the areas that they need to be guided through for the best practices, for the best of their abilities to come forward. And as a principal, I would say we have a very periodic sessions with our staff members. We believe in peer mentoring. Very effective it is. We believe in triad sessions. Peer observation is the key, I would say, in my school, and it is a success model. Yes, we roll out. I'll just give you one single example. What we do is, in the beginning of the academic year, we roll out a Google form. Apart from just to know them better, it's very important that we know them better. We have one-to-one interactions. We roll out a Google Forms where we say that what is your preference? What do you like the most? What motivates you to come to school every day? What are the areas that interests you? What are the areas that you want to step in to improve in our campus? Through such questionnaires, it's just an example I'm giving you, through such questionnaires, we come to know very specific what are the areas of they are expert in, and what are the areas that they need guidance on. And then what we do is that we pick those special people, and we interchange their areas of interest. We make them talk, we make them interact amongst each other. And that creates a beautiful collaboration, that creates a beautiful teamwork throughout the academic year. Apart from that, yes, we have the CPD sessions, which is very common. We have the personal development sessions. We have one-to-one specialized training sessions. We have sessions like cybersecurity, safeguarding, and several others. Apart from having apart from having, a top-down approach, we believe in interaction. We believe in talking amongst each other, and that creates an environment of unity. This is what we focus on.
That's great. I think I just want to touch on what you were saying about peer mentoring. I think that's been really instrumental for my school as well. Just having that expertise with, different staff in terms of, if there's one area, like you say, that they might be expert in, and say the start of a lesson or the plenary of a lesson, and that's shared, inviting those teachers into the classroom of that teacher. I think that is then allowing for more professional development across the team rather than a top-down approach. And then that has made it a lot more easier, the transition for senior leaders to go in and observe lessons. I think that's been instrumental at Glendale as well. Thank you, Pranathi. Um, Rachel, can I ask you a question about how do you ensure that staff have the opportunity to develop their areas of development in your school, and what strategies are in place at Smart Vision?
Oh, thank you. We very similar. We find it really, really important to get to know our staff, and critically, we always have protected time. Protected time at the beginning of the academic year, and the staff know that this is part of Inset Week. So throughout the summer, we encourage them to really dig deep, think about their own personal where they want to go in that academic year. We're an inclusive school, so the staff are very, very aware of our targets, our school improvement plan, but we always want to make sure that they have something running parallel for themselves personally. I think when it came to lockdown and COVID, Smart Vision School was part of the BSME group, and the BSME really ran an incredible program where you were able to opt in and pick your own personalised CPD. It's something that we definitely took out as an advantage and carried that on in an internal fashion, which I think has worked really, really well. I could not also commend the groups that run in Dubai more. I'd shout it from the rooftops. We're very fortunate that we are part of different groups, and I think that really supports that linear CPD. Just like peer, evaluation and observations within a school setting. Sometimes having that peer element, but outside of your own school, really, really has powerful impact. And, for those of you that may or may not know, there are, leadership groups, there are inclusion groups, there are foundation stage groups, maths leaders groups. And with all those different networking opportunities, people are able to take little golden nuggets, and bring them back to the school to really utilize and improve.
Excellent, thank you. Do you have any ideas on how schools in Dubai could provide PD in a different way? I know you've mentioned BSME, and that is such a wealth of experience there.
We've actually taken to our own internal Padlet, and it works really, really well. So you're able to upload videos and content, and we encourage our staff to do little short 4 to 5 minute Friday, give us what you've learned or what you've improved on, showcase something that that could work in another year group, and you might not have had the opportunity to share that. And so we have a rolling basically improvement CPD Padlet for our school. We section it off into core areas, so English, maths, science, Islamic, Arabic, well-being, and general, so that everybody can learn from everybody. And it's a way to do it on your own time. Sometimes, I might have a busier schedule than, a peer, but we're able to access that at any opportunity.
I love that idea of the video, because sometimes teachers can't get, as you said, into a classroom, neighbouring classroom. They might be teaching at the same time, and that just gets away from sorting out cover and those sorts of issues. So I think that's a really good idea. I think what also has worked, I don't know whether you're familiar with the KHDA What Work sessions that they were doing, and we did a kind of idea the same way, where teachers were doing their What Works and allowing that to happen during staff meeting time. And that was probably the best PD that teachers got. Was, okay, you showcase what you do well, let's have that opportunity to see that in a staff meeting time, and allow each teacher to showcase that in small groups, because sometimes teachers feel that might be a bit daunting to do it as a whole staff. But having those regular What Works in our school is vital, I think, for improvement.
I agree totally. And I think being really apparent and aware of teachers and LAs that don't have English as their first language, and sometimes taking that concept and having it delivered in a smaller group session, perhaps in their own language, has had real profound effect.
I think at the Arabic department as well, particularly benefited from that. So, we allow when we're having this kind of peer mentoring going on, the Arabic teachers would go into an English teacher's lesson, would learn those kind of key strategies that are in those core subject lessons that have, again, been very useful to share those strategies across the whole school. Thank you so much. Rayham, can I move on to you, founder of CAO of Campus 51? How can we make sure that personalised PD is at the forefront when planning for the school year ahead? And what is in place at your campus that you'd like to share? Sorry, Rayham.
Thanks a lot. First of all, thank you for this lovely opportunity being here with the...
Sorry, I meant for Rayham, sorry.
I thought Rania, you said. Okay, go
sorry,
ahead,
Rayham.
No problem.
Well, just when planning ahead is very important. But let's agree that there is no one size fits for all. And we need to remember also that teachers evolve as much as students. I've witnessed planning firsthand before even we start Campus 51. I was lucky to have been brought up in a family that believes in the power of education. And this has uncovered my passion towards education. My grandfather, Hamad Rashidi, was the founder of first school, private school in Egypt and perhaps in the region. He was the pioneer of private schools, private education in Egypt. I've witnessed also planning and implementation all over the years, which sometimes worked and sometimes didn't. And this has a great impact on, or we saw the impact on the teachers and students. And this is where our drive comes from. At Campus 51, we offer multiple diplomas, featured courses, license, and programs tailored for the students and not students, I mean tailored for the educators in the region. And let me share with you a story that came up to my mind. This is a true story about an 8-year-old student whose classroom performance was below his grade level, and he was unable to cope with his peers. By testing the student, he was diagnosed with ADHD, short-term memory, and hearing processing disorder. Upon the recommendation of the professionals, an individualized learning plan was set for him, including customization for his material, test, and analysis, time, even assessment. And you know what? The change was drastic. He turned from a below grade level student to an above average student, and his coping with peers was developed significantly. The point is that we tailor for students because we see them as human individuals. Teachers also are human individuals, and they have their needs. So by tailoring professional development for them, actually we are humanizing the professional development. Taking this into consideration, students change, the ecosystem change, we have change in technology, and teachers need to be dynamic in order to cope with this change. We offer them this at Campus 51. And definitely we cater for the students' learning styles. Teachers also have their teaching styles. We can see a teacher who is more comfortable preparing activities based on technology. Other teachers more comfortable with handmade activities. Both they reach their goal with different ways. All this is to be accomplished. Planning is the key. And this is done through an effective needs analysis process, which starts with the teacher and is complemented by other stakeholders like administration, peers, parents, and students. And at Campus 51, we believe that effective professional development needs to cater for personal and professional skills. They are interrelated, they cannot be separated. Because imagine if we have a teacher with very poor time management skills, they cannot achieve their desire either inside or outside the class. However, by going through an effective professional development, this skill will be extended from just being a professional, professional desire to a personality trait. So I guess that our mission, you and I and all of us, is to empower teachers to bring the best out of them and to reach their utmost potential for providing students with the needed skills and for them to develop. As simple as that.
Thank you. Thank you, Reham. Yeah, I think when you mentioned about kind of self-appraisal, I think that's so important that teachers do get the chance to, look at those in our school in particular, the school standards, the KHDA standards, and how they're going to be benchmarked, and looking at that and self-appraising themselves at the start of the year, and then those kind of objectives that are maybe they know that are at an acceptable level, they would then formulate that part of their targets for the year. And I think that is so important that teachers get the opportunity to have that self-appraisal process before any observations start. So I agree with you there that there has to be that in place from the beginning. Rania, sorry to keep you last of all, but Saving the best to last, Rania. What are the other benefits for personalising professional development for staff? And can you share an example of how this is catered for at Beacon House?
Okay, thanks a lot. First of all, I want to thank all of the panelists here, my colleagues, and my other principals that we can see. I believe the room is full of with leaders who are facing this dilemma every single day about how professionally they can develop their teachers. Before speaking about the personalized learning, I don't know how many of you are familiar with John Hattie. I'm personally a very big fan of John Hattie and the visible learning approach. John Hattie, he studied specific practices, I would say, that they will show the highest impact on students' learning. And interestingly, he found that there are some specific factors, they show that impact more than other things. One of them, which was very interesting, and I really believe in it, it's very right, is the passionate teachers. If we hire the passionate teachers for our students, definitely they will learn better. Another interesting one is the collective teachers' efficacy. So collective teachers' efficacy is mainly about teachers meeting together, learning from each other in order to become better educators. So speaking about the personalized professional development, I personally believe that the best teacher for the teacher is another teacher who perform better. And let me also quote one of a very famous curves that we as school principals, we always use whenever we categorize our teachers. We all evaluate our teachers based on lesson observations. We observe them and see, you know what, based on KHDA, SPIA, whatever the regulator is. We're working in different Emirates in UAE, and we all have the same framework that we are in a way or another. But at the end, we go and say, you know what, this teacher is weak, this teacher is good, this teacher is very good, this teacher is outstanding. And we go to a very famous bill curve. I'm not sure how many of you are familiar with the bill curve. It looks exactly like the bill. And in a way, it categorizes your teachers to teachers who are underachievers, they are minority. Teachers who are above achievers, again, they are minority. And teachers who are average achievers, and which is the majority, because most of us, we're not going to go and say, oh, all my teachers are outstanding. That's very, unless the school is outstanding. But the majority of us, we say, okay, I have the majority are average school, some outstanding and some under average. A major mistake as leaders, I personally used to do before reading this about the bill curve here, that I used to go and buddy my outstanding teacher with my weak teacher. So I ended up speaking Chinese with my weak teacher because simply it's kind of the ZPD of that zone of proximal development. It's not the right for the weak teacher. So what we really need to do is to buddy our underperforming teachers with those average teachers and buddy those average teachers with a little bit above teachers. So when we speak about the personalized learning, this is what we do in my school. I focus a lot on the buddy system. The moment the school is, the teacher is stepping inside our school, we immediately decide that you have a specific buddy. If we get to know more about the needs and the weaknesses of the teacher, we even maybe change the buddy as per the needs of that person. I would say that is the most effective approach because the buddying will allow these two teachers, again, the collective efficacy, teaching efficacy, two minds better than one. They meet together, talk about it. They allow each other to observe their lessons among them and they reflect on these lessons together. So I believe that was very, very successful approach that I really recommend to the other peoples, apart definitely from the other great things that the other delegates here mentioned about the external PD, the in-house PDs that we are doing. So
Thank you so much, Rania. I've just got one question that any of the panel can answer. How do you ensure staff are able to share their teaching strengths? We kind of said this already, but if there's any other comments, to share their teaching strengths and abilities, and can you share some examples or a success story? So anyone would like to take that one?
I can start with it, Glendale. As we are all discussing, I think we are all agreeing on one common fact that sharing best practices is the key. So giving the opportunity for the teachers, to the teachers to share their strength and the weaknesses is, again, we're talking about the buddy support. In my school, we have a specific time allotted in the year where our teachers are given the opportunity to exhibit their best practices. So this is something unique that we do. And through this, it is not only, going for lesson observation, it is focused mostly on the conversation. Conversation is the key, and that's how one teacher is able to open fully with their peers. And you never know that maybe the teacher is not able to open up to us as the leaders in in a complete manner, or through the several need analysis that we do, but they are able to open up amongst themselves. And that's how we try to find out the specific areas of interest and nurture them. Here, I would also like to add, yes, I have not practiced this in my school, but I have, when I was a teacher, when I was in my previous other schools, it was a beautiful practice which I had uh, experienced. The student leaders of the particular school was given the opportunity to train their teachers on technological integration. It was an amazing experience, not only motivating the student leaders, but making them feel that they are the true leaders who can create such a significant difference. I was a part of, I was a trainee of my student leaders, and trust me, it was remarkable. I learned from my students how to use a Pear Deck efficiently. It was a learning experience for me, and I have plans to introduce such kind of initiative in my school from the senior students, the student council members. I was attending the last session, which was on technological integration, AI, and many of you who were present here, we all have heard that what are the challenges and the struggles we face as adults. Because one panelist said that there is a gap in our age, which leads to a generation gap and which leads to an adaptability. Yes, I agree to it. But when you learn from your students, this makes us uh, very adaptable. This opens our horizon, and this is a very important way to integrate and to blend in, because that's the ultimate aim. We are here to benefit our students. So if we understand our students better, we are able to train ourselves, we are able to nurture them better. It is just one experience which I thought I'll take this opportunity to share. And I have plans to implement this in my school through my student council members. And they are really amazing in this.
Thank you, Radhi. It's a great initiative. I think that's something we can all learn. But I think just want to mention children have also been involved in assessing the lesson and grading lessons and whether they've enjoyed the lesson. I think that's really exciting as well, where they can say, we particularly enjoy this lesson because it was taught in this way. And I think the more that we give that ownership to the children, they should tell us if the lesson isn't going so well. So they're a great advocate of what's happening in the classroom. Rachel, you had something to add?
Yeah, we've taken a very different approach this academic year. We've really heavily protected the CPD budget, but we've also split it in half. So 50% of that budget is for school-wide priorities, and 50% of that budget is for personal CPD. There comes when anyone can apply for any type of course, but it comes with the absolute guarantee that they have to bring it back and have an impact within our school. How they go about that is entirely up to them. At the end of the day, we always promote flipped learning and student-led learning within the classroom. We've sort of gone with that approach with our CPD as well. So it may well be that a staff member is coming back and running a set staff meeting. It may well be that they're going in to work alongside a teacher and team teach. It may well be that they're just generating fantastic fantastic videos that staff can access, but giving staff the opportunity to self-select and then choose how they then bring it back to the school has been absolutely smashing.
Amazing. I think that's important to mention, isn't it? It's the difference between training versus professional development. Now, training is those things that are core to the start of the school year that all staff will undergo and will be part of. But then staff development is incredibly personal, and every teacher will have their own journey of what they want to do as a personal target. And I think that's really, really important. And development, I think, is looking to their future and their growth. Especially if you want to keep those kind of teachers with us in the school, we should be prioritizing that at a personal level. And I think that's really, really a great way of sharing how you can use that CPD budget. Thank you, Rachel. Anything else you'd like to add,
Yeah,
Rania?
Jasmine, I would love to add another practice, and I found it very also effective. I believe that it's very important to share the success criteria with the teacher whenever, like, you start the year. What are our expectations? Something new I have done this year is I added it to the KPI. In addition to all of, the normal KPIs that we are expecting from teachers when it comes to the lesson observations, their attitude, punctuality, X, Y, and Z, I told my teachers, I'm going to add one more thing to your KPIs for the coming years. From now on, by the end of the year, when you come and we discuss your appraisal, your review of your performance, there will be a question I will be asking you, which will be, what did you add to Beacon House, Al Khalij School, during this academic year? What is something in you that was not there and you initiated? If you have for me a success story, then definitely you will be ticking that KPI. And that definitely comes from the best practices, innovative practices that we are expecting from the teachers to add to the place. The employee or the traditional style of teachers who's just coming to do the basics, I don't think so. It's competent anymore, and it is not what will take us to the next level in terms of teaching and with all of the standards that's getting higher in UAE. So we need to move to the next level by finding some new KPIs, I would say, and one of them is being innovative. Bring to the place something new, a new idea, a new practice, a new event that was not there, and it is here because of this teacher or that teacher.
Thank you. Rehan, would you like to add any more points to that last point?
Yes, I guess we all face the challenge of resistance when we introduce the professional development. Based on the needs analysis, areas of development are identified as well as strength. By highlighting the strength and acknowledge the teacher's strength, this lessens the resistance, and it highlights it. Give them more confidence in their practice, and the teachers are more open to feedback, and this leads to satisfaction in the institution itself. So I guess focusing on the points of strength is very important, and talking about the best practice, as Rania said.
Great, thank you. I think we've coming to the end. We've about 5 minutes left, I believe. If we have any questions for our panelists, can we take any questions from the audience? We do have one more point that Ms. Pranathi would like to add before we finish.
I think this entire conversation, the topic that we got to discuss is something very, very innovative. And definitely I would like to say that the vision of my school is to instill a desire to be innovative. So we believe in continuous learning. It's a process. It doesn't end. It doesn't have an end. And as we grow, as we are talking, as we are nurturing ourselves, we are innovating new strategies, new strengths every moment. So yes, this topic, the topic that we have all got, a personalized professional development, anything that makes us happy, that suits to our understanding, that suits to our interest, is something that we should pursue forward. And that's the ethos as an educator. I believe it's very important that we should instill in all our students, in all our fellow members, in all our peers.
Can I just say thank you to all the panelists? I really enjoyed this conversation because you had so many different things to share with us in terms of your own personal journeys and your own schools. So thank you so much.